Recently, Facebook announced a name change for the company to Meta, which comes during the midst of a marketing plug by Mark Zuckerberg for his new take on augmented reality, a new virtual universe, if you will. It's called Facebook's Metaverse, and I found out what the Metaverse is from BBC technology editor Zoe Kleinman. But first, here she is with what this rebrand means for us everyday users.
If you're one of the 2 billion users of Facebook, it's still going to be called Facebook. WhatsApp, which Facebook also owns, will still be called WhatsApp. Instagram will still be called Instagram. You're not going to be bombarded with the word Meta everywhere you turn on social media. But what it's kind of doing is saying, Facebook is a massive multi-billion-dollar mega core. Let's not underestimate how big this business is. It's been many, many years since Facebook was just that little social network that, Mark Zuckerberg set up to meet fellow students when he was at university. It's so much more than that. And in a way, it makes sense for the parent company, if you like, the Uber brands, to have this different name. Google did the same thing a few years ago. It rebranded itself to Alphabet. So actually, probably never hear anyone mention the word Alphabet. And it has lots of other companies under that umbrella, as well as Google, its search engine.
So this isn't a knee-jerk reaction to perhaps a bit of bad press that they've had. This is something that you think, this rebranding, has been in the pipeline for quite a while.
I think it's no coincidence that Facebook has had a hard time recently. It's faced a lot of criticism, a lot of scrutiny, quite rightly actually, over, some of the activity that happens on its platforms. And they've always taken a step back and said, we're not making this content. We are just posting it. We're not the publisher. It's not our fault what people put on it. Well, that game is now over. And there is no doubt that Facebook is going to have to quite dramatically renose itself, to keep up with the expectations and indeed the law that other countries are now bringing in. They want to curtail the amount of harmful activity that goes on these platforms. Is this timing entirely coincidental? I suspect not.
Right. And it is, you're right, it's such an important thing that we take control of what's happening on these sites as well, and we take some responsibility for it. Moving on to the actual name of Meta. Well, what is the Metaverse?
Yeah, that is the sort of billion-dollar question, isn't it? So the Metaverse is a virtual space, if you like, a digital space where you meet and interact with other people. So let's say, for example, you and I, Harry, are chatting on Zoom right now. If we were in the Metaverse, we would be in a digital space, in your digital radio studio. I would have an avatar of me, you would have an avatar of you, and we would be in a much more immersive situation than we are with me in my lounge and you in your lounge, talking to each other in a sort of old-fashioned way down the line. Facebook summed it up as saying, and I really like this actually, the current stage of the internet is us looking at it. And the next stage of the internet, the Metaverse, is us being in it, which kind of makes sense to me. Now, if you're a gamer, this probably sounds familiar to you. A lot of these companies are saying, we've kind of been doing this for years. But bringing it to the mainstream, bringing it to meetings, imagine having a team meeting where you're all on the golf course.
It feels like when you speak about this, there are companies that are saying they're sort of doing this already. So this is sort of going on in different ways outside of Facebook and outside of Meta.
I mean, you would not be wrong to think, well, hang on, isn't this sort of what virtual reality has been trying to do for years? And you're right, it is, VR has never quite taken off, has it, in the way that everyone said. For years, it was like, this is going to be the year of virtual reality, wasn't it? And have we had the year of virtual reality? Arguably not. I don't think we have. It's going to take, they reckon, 10 years for it to be in a state where everyone's using it. Now, Facebook is asking its users to trust it again and to go on with it on this new journey when people are not so enamored with Facebook as they once were. So we'll have to see to what extent it gets picked up. Will we be sitting here in 10 years' time saying, well, is it the year of the Metaverse yet? Who knows?
Riding the high, Microsoft have entered the fray as well with their own Metaverse, Microsoft Mesh, a space for work and play which they say they've already been working on for the past 12 years. What's the future going to look like? Well, as Zoe Kleinman said, who knows?